So, Meeting the Spirits, part 3. Gosh, there's such a lot to talk about in this area, which is the traditional shamanic work in the sort of more specific sense of the word shamanism. And at the end of the last one, I was talking about healing yourself. And I think that needs to be the emphasis. I was taught that you need to have others do it for you. They'll do your soul retrievals, your depossessions, your soul theft, all that sort of stuff. But I think we need to do it ourselves. There is a place for doing it for other people, or even having it done for ourselves. It's more like a nudge. But really, we need to call on our helpers. I can feel mine here now. I can feel my spirits around me. I can feel my animals around me. They've shown up. It's great. They're backing this. They think it's great. And they will do the work for you. And that will help you establish your relationship with them. And you won't always know what they are. Sometimes you will, and sometimes you won't. But you can almost feel them. You can put your hand out, you can feel that fur. Yeah, maybe you can smell them. It can be almost tangible, and it's subtle, but it's strong. So just get a drum going or something, or get in some kind of ceremonial space and allow something to show up. But also call it to mind when you're doing other things on a day-to-day basis. Always have them in mind. They're always with you. We just create these special spaces because we're not used to it. Now, there's another thing. Well, there's lots of other things. I'm going to talk about the embodiment of them. Because the way we're normally taught to journey is that we lie down to a drum and we go off and we meet them. Well, some indigenous people say, no, they come to you. There's even one lot, they go, no, there's something wrong if you go to them. And here's another thing, the callback signal that you learn in core shamanism. Yeah? You have this steady drumming, which takes you to the other world. And then at the end, when it's time to come back, they do this really fierce drumming to break up the altered state you're in, to get you back to this one. And I think that's an excess of health and safety. I've never been happy with that callback signal. And if you don't feel happy with it, trust it. You've got to trust it when there's bits you don't agree with, because you're probably onto something. Just because everyone else does it, because there's these figures that you respect do it, doesn't mean that they've thought about it properly and got it right. Now, here's a story. There's a book called Spirits from the Edge of the World, which I'd recommend. Jan van something or other. She spent years on and off visiting with these shamans in Siberia. They were so remote, they'd been left untouched by communism. It's the modern world that seems to be doing for them. They're just about hanging on. But she brought them over to Seattle, and they went to there was a shamanic journeying session there, and they went to it. And the callback signal, the guy who was the shaman who she brought over, he was attending this session. He walked out. He goes, this is barbaric. In fact, he was going to lead the whole conference. And she goes, no, we've actually signed legal documents. You do have to do your presentation as well. But he just thought it was barbaric. And to be honest, that's how I've always felt. Yeah, you're in this subtle place. It's deep. It's sensitive. You come back slowly. You come back gradually. You bring it with you. You don't do this kind of brutal yanking out. That is not the way. And I'm willing to say that core shamanism's got that wrong. And it also makes me think about, I mean, core shamanism, it was created by Mark Ohana, an American academic, as a sort of, well, the way he puts it, it's a kind of essence of how shamanism is practiced around the world. Well, it's not really. I mean, a Native American guy I knew, I've never heard of anything like that. Yeah. Mind you, he was a bit too keen to distance himself from anything Westerners were doing. So I'm not entirely sure how much I trust that. But the core of shamanism is that we belong to the natural world. That's where we need to start. You may or may not have a gift for spirit work. If you don't have a gift for spirit work, you can feel you can't do shamanism. Well, that is not the case. We all have a gift for being inspired one way or another. You might be a painter. You might have music coming through you. You might be a writer. You might just have insights into people. However it is, core is that sense of belonging to the natural world and this sense of a bigger you, that sense of belonging to the natural world engenders in you, that opens up in you, that deeper pattern that opens up in you when you realize that you're not alone, you are part of this bigger thing. That's where it begins. So core shamanism, one, I'm questioning the word core because I want to come back to what's essential, because that's what chaos is about. It's about coming back to essentials. But also, lost my thread there slightly. Yes, it's safe. This thing about the callback signal, the way I was taught it was because you can get lost in the other world and never come back. And we've got to make sure people come back. And that just seems to me like health and safety gone mad. If you have mental issues and you're not able to be back here, well, then you easily get lost somewhere else. You shouldn't be doing the journeying in the first place. That's the issue. But really what most of us need is more ability to just go to that world, almost at will. Always have it with us. I was once asked to do some work for someone who'd been sectioned. So I went there, and what I found myself doing is I shifted into the animal, and what I was doing, I was putting this person back in their body. That's what the issue was. They'd left their body. Yeah, they'd left this incarnating and they'd gone off into their own reality. But he had enough awareness of that to ask me to come and do something. So I did. And I think 5 days later, they released him. He was well enough again. So that's the issue. There's a mental health issue with not being able to be in this body, not being able to come back. So that's why I say, if you have mental health issues, be very careful about doing this work. But if you haven't got mental health issues, go there and don't use that callback signal. Come back slowly, come back gently, bring back from that world whatever nourishment it is that you've been given, because we go there for nourishment to help us to live better, to help us live in a more aligned sort of way, to bring us back to our center, our deeper center. Okay, that's it for now.